Hi, Cody here with Hardhead Veterans, and today I'm here with Jake Saul from NVD, and we're going to talk about night vision and what all that entails.
Great, Cody. Thanks for having me here. I always like to sit down and talk shop whenever I get the opportunity.
Yes. So as far as night vision goes, why would you need to buy night vision, or why would you want to?
Well, because you can, Cody. All jokes aside, you know, night vision historically obviously was used primarily by military. In the past couple of decades, that's transitioned into the law enforcement arena. You'll find, not just in the US, but around the world, that tactical law enforcement officers, SWAT, counter-terror units, counter-narcotics units will usually be outfitted with some form of night vision. From a civilian standpoint, there's a lot of reasons, right? So, not the least of which being that as long as we live in a free country and we're able to buy it, buy it. But also for recreational reasons such as hunting, for home defense. You know, anytime that you can use night vision as opposed to giving away your current position with a flashlight, that'd be beneficial. You know, with hunting, there's hog hunting, obviously, which I know we're going to get to do a little bit of. There's any other sort of varmint hunting. Obviously, check with your local law enforcement about what's allowed. Don't go out in the middle of deer season and try to use night vision. You're going to have some problems with the game warden. So a lot of people that would be in this world, I'll say, are all doing tactical night vision, or tactical shooting rather. And in that arena, there's also quite a bit of night vision training that can be done. It's one of those tools that it's a force multiplier. It's really a game changer, right? Everybody's heard the term "own the night." Whenever you have the ability to give yourself a capability such as seeing in the dark, it's worth the money to do so. And then, of course, if you're going to do that, it's worth spending the money to train with and become familiar with it as well.
Definitely. Okay, so what does NVD have to offer? What are all the products that y'all have?
Yeah, great question. So NVD, for those who aren't familiar with us, we're the third largest U.S. night vision manufacturer. We're based out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, and we do the full spectrum of head-worn and weapon-mounted night vision systems. When I say the full spectrum, I mean that we manufacture the legacy systems such as PVS 7s, which are obviously fairly outdated, still popular in some areas of the world, but are for the most part phased out. And then the PVS 14 night vision monocular, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and most people have seen or at least know what that is. We have one here that we can look at, but this also, it's a fantastic piece of equipment. It's still very popular for a couple reasons, which I'm sure we'll go over here in a bit. But it is also kind of going the way of the dinosaur. You know, most the modern forces are transitioning from a monocular to a dual tube binocular. The dual tube binocular is really where NVD shines and sets itself apart from the competition. We do offer, a dozen or so different models. I've got a couple here we can talk about. So when it comes to dual tube binocular, there's a lot of different options out there on the market. NVD has kind of, with taking the voice of the customer, built out a system that offers all the functionality, a lot that you won't find in others, and then putting them all together so it's a fully functional, fully collimated dual tube binocular. Our flagship systems are the BNVD SGs and the ultralight. Really, more so the ultralight is the kind of the next generation. The SG stands for single gain control, right? So you've got a dual tube binocular, which can be operated as a monocular. I'll throw that in there, right? If you wanted to roll one channel up, you can do that. Our system will automatically power down whatever channel is not being used or is rolled out of the way. The single gain control knob is where you get the SG from, right? This is going to control the brightness in both image tubes. That really comes into play, especially here in the domestic US, where you're going to be changing, the environmental light that you're going to come in contact with is going to change significantly depending on where you are and what you're doing. This allows you to adjust both tubes simultaneously so that you keep that the visible image at a comfortable or optimal light level. And then, we can go over all the features if you like, but, stepping up from that, we obviously have the ultralight. It's the same form and function, right? So you've got fully adjustable diopters, close range focus of 9.8 inches out to infinity, which allows you to really focus here in your workspace. Still has the gain control knob, built-in IR illuminator, which can be adjusted for either a spot or a floodlight, depending on what you're using. The ability to use it as a monocular and then having the tactical monocular cutoff. Fully submersible, 20 meters for 3 hours, and then it runs off a single AA battery. So one AA battery, or alkaline's about 20 hours of continuous use, and a lithium's over 40 hours of continuous use. Of course, we do offer an optional battery pack, which you could plug in. Our battery pack runs off of 3 AA's, which also keeps the weight down on your head, but it gives you an exponentially longer battery life.
Okay.
So outside of our ultralight SG, we do have the Mini B, which is going to have the same function and same functionality. It's going to be a digital push button top cover, which further reduces weight and also streamlines the system just a bit. When it comes to weapon scopes, NVD manufactures a handful of dedicated weapon scopes, which are built-in windage elevation, reticle. It's a standalone optic. And then we've partnered with Knight's Armament as a master distributor to promote and sell their product line, which many of you guys have seen, the PVS 30 refurbs. Those were all coming through NVD. We currently have the UNS SR refurbs, or the other refurbs, and those are available as well. And then all of their other clip-on night vision sights that we can offer. We do sell Steiner is a partner of ours, so we offer their lasers. Obviously, we're not a laser manufacturer. We're not a reseller, nor do we really want to be. I mean, we are a manufacturer of soldier-worn weapon and weapon-mounted night vision systems. But the laser just complements our product, just like the hard-headed veterans helmets complement our product, right? We're not a helmet manufacturer, but as a kit, you're going to need night vision. You're going to need some way of mounting it, and you're going to need some way of aiming with it. So all these pieces just kind of build out the what the average person and or the operator would need to be combat effective.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the mounting options.
So head-worn night vision, obviously, even in its name, right, it has to be worn on the head somehow, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. There are soft head harnesses, padded head harnesses, some more comfortable than others, some more streamlined and cost-effective than others. There's bump helmets, which in the U.S. retail market, unless you're planning on being shot at, a bump helmet is probably the way I would go. And then, of course, you have your varying levels of ballistic helmets, all of which can be used for mounting night vision. The helmet itself is the platform, but you're going to need a shroud on your helmet, something that you can affix your night vision mount to. All right. There are a handful of different mounts in the market. The Wilcox obviously is kind of the Wilcox and Norotos rather are the two primary brands that you're going to run into and find. So all of our dual tube binoculars are going to are going to operate with a dovetail mount. Older systems like the PVS 14 and the PVS 7 would work with what's called a bayonet style. All right, so the 14 would have a J-arm, which would then plug into a bayonet mount. Both Wilcox and Norotos make mounts that correspond with all these different mounting adapters. Mm-hmm. So really user preference, whether you want to go Wilcox or Norotos. They both offer a significant amount of adjustments, slightly different features. Right, you can raise obviously the height. This is how far it's going to sit on the head. You can bring the goggle away from and closer to your face, and then you can tilt the goggle depending on your head position and the way you're looking through that. You want to make sure you're looking through the tubes and not at an angle, which could cut off your field of view a bit. All of these are going to connect directly into the helmet, right? So as part of the system, you'd have your night vision system, you'd have your dovetail mount going into the night vision mount, connecting to the shroud, which is attached to the helmet. And all that's going to give you a really stable, strong platform that allows you to quickly deploy the night vision, as you see here with the Wilcox, and quickly stow the night vision by pushing the button and folding it up. One of the nice things, there are other articulating night vision systems out there, but when rolled and stowed in an upright position, you'd want to fold them out into a butterfly. We call it the butterfly position, which drastically reduces both your silhouette and also brings the weight closer to the head, which is going to make it a lot easier on the neck for long-term use. But that's essentially how you're gonna mount it. The head harnesses, they're going to do the same thing without having a full helmet. They're nice, they're light, they're streamlined, but actually, the Achilles heel is that they have no weight, and therefore the night vision is correct. It's going to want to slide down on your face. With our ultralight, super lightweight binocular, even with the monocular, small, lightweight, having a counterweight still goes a long way.
Okay, so in addition to the mount, what else would you need to run night vision?
Well, let's say you've gone out, you bought yourself a night vision. You've bought yourself a mount. You've got a hard-headed veteran's helmet or a ballistic helmet or some other mounting system. There are still quite a few accessories that would make your life easier, right? So, assuming you're using a dual-tube binocular, you've got both eyes under night vision. Yes, anybody who owns an EOTech or an Aimpoint or any other sight with a night vision option, you know that you can obviously aim through that red dot. It just gets a little tricky trying to get your head, with the cheek weld and the night vision and banging thing. It's not ideal. Most of the time, you're going to want to shoot with a laser aiming device of some sorts. Here on this scar, you see we've got the Steiner D-ball eye squared. Steiner makes fantastic lasers. The D-ball A2 obviously would be, or is commonly referred to as the PEC 15 Alpha. L3 EOTech makes the PEC 15, PEC 16, and a slew of other lasers. B. Myers obviously came out with them all. So there are a lot of options, all offering similar or some are greatly different features. Using that laser system, you're then able to look over your optic and use that laser to engage multiple targets quickly. So an aiming system would be a great purchase to add to your night vision kit. I mentioned briefly counterweights. They're not needed all the time, but you use it long enough, or if you're doing enough physical activity, even if it's an ultralight binocular, any night vision system that's on the market, I don't care who sells it. A counterweight will do wonders to make that sit more comfortably on your head. Being able to even out the weight is going to seriously reduce the neck strain, which is real. The running joke is if your neck hurts, or if you get neck strain, get a stronger neck. But there's no sense in killing yourself. Just a really cost-effective way is to buy. I believe this is yours here, right? This is a counterweight pouch made by HHV.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
And you can just play with the weight, find one that's going to about match the weight of the binocular and the mount. Other options you can get. So a lot of people run with some form of an IR strobe, IR light. I'll take it or leave it. We're here in the domestic U.S. I don't know who you need to notify of your position with an IR strobe light.
Might depend on whether or not you're working for law enforcement or whatever.
Correct, but even then, I would argue that you're just simply giving away your position to anybody and everybody. Other than that, that's really all you need. That and training. I highly recommend. Getting night vision's great. We say the same thing to every law enforcement agency that we sell to, and that's, owning night or having night vision is just the first step. You've got to train with it, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's going to change when you're under night vision. It's going to slow things down. People tend to get tunnel vision. Obviously, you are looking through a smaller field of view than you're used to. So when making entry, CQB, all of that, it's the same standard process of entering a room, but you're going to do it more methodically and understanding that you have limitations. So training is paramount, and there's countless schools right now with incredible instructors that the average civilian can go out and get training on as well. And if you like shooting during the day, I assure you that shooting at night's just as much or more fun.
Okay, so let's talk about the capabilities as far as illumination and how well these work under low-vis conditions.
Yeah, so there's a common misconception that night vision just automatically allows you to see in the dark. And without going too deep into the science, right, so night vision is going to amplify the ambient light or the light that's in the near vis spectrum, right? So without any ambient light, let's just say you're in a heavily wooded area, there's no moon, it's, heavy overcast, there's no starlight, night vision's not going to do you much good because there's no light to amplify. In those extreme low light environments, you're going to need some sort of ancillary light source. Now, depending on what you're trying to do, there's obviously various options. For administrative tasks, patrolling, walking, things of that nature, if you're not worried about your IR signature, you do have, at least our system has built-in IR illuminator, which is going to project an IR floodlight or spotlight, which is going to then give the system the light it needs to function. So you're essentially shining an infrared flashlight that's not visible to the naked eye. The system then reads that and is able to amplify that light so that it gives you a working image. There's also IR lights that can affix to your helmet. Again, these are really for administrative tasks or just movement. When it comes to targeting or engaging a target, you're going to need something more powerful, something with some reach on it. And that's where, again, a laser aiming device with a built-in IR illuminator would work. There are also quite a few different flashlights that offer IR illumination, right? So if you have a laser designator that does not have built-in IR illuminator, I believe Surefire, Streamlight, Modlight, I think even Enforce have an IR version of their flashlights. It's going to function the same way as a flashlight would, only it's not visible unless you have night vision on.
Maybe a filter, right?
Oh yeah, correct. A filter or a cap, something like that. Now that's going to project it at much further distance, depending on what I don't know all the specs for each of those, but that's going to give you anywhere from 50 meters to 500 meters, depending on what you're looking at. And then of course the laser would work as well. But again, night vision does have its limitations. Generation 3 night vision is the best in the world as far as its luminescence gain and ability to amplify that non-visible light. But without some sort of ambient light, the system's not going to work correctly.
Okay, so I think that's it. So how do people find night vision devices?
Yeah, great. So obviously you can go to our website. It's nvdevices.com. You can check out our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram at NVDevices. Check us out. Give us a like and share. We look forward to hearing from you.
All right, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and hit that like and subscribe button.